Good evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News for Friday, July 28th. Grant Olson is enjoying his last day of vacation. I'm Jefferson Robbins. Thanks for being here. Let's take a look at some of our top news stories this evening. The Wenatchee School District gets ready to finalize its budget with a little help from the public, and $8 million in cuts are on the table for coming school years. Who knew pickleball could take over the world? It's certainly taking over the athletic courts at the Chelan County PUD parks, where some facilities will close for maintenance or pickleball conversion. Just another one of those 300 days of sunshine we allegedly get every year in the Wenatchee region. Clear skies with temperatures topping out around 90 today, so it must be another day in midsummer. Dan Kuntz of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley will pretend to know what he's talking about while he stands in front of a weather map later on this half hour to bring you your weekend forecast. Nurses at the Confluence Health Mares Campus have voted to form a union. About 100 nurses at the former Wenatchee Valley Clinic will be represented by the Washington State Nurses Association. That union will work with the nurses on staff to form a bargaining team and negotiate a first contract. In a press release, the association said the organizing campaign went on for about 5 months as nurses expressed frustrations over wage parity, potential rotation between other Confluence Health facilities, and confusion over management structure changes. The vote to form a union happened July 19th, with 70 nurses out of the 100 casting a vote. WSNA already represents nurses at Confluence Health Central Campus, which was previously known as Central Washington Hospital. The Wenatchee School District is holding a public hearing next Tuesday to hear comments on the proposed 2023-2024 budget. The proposal includes $8 million in cuts that will remove about 75 positions over the next 2 years. Anyone may be heard speaking for or against the budget, whether that be in person or virtually. The board is expected to adopt the completed budget at its August 22nd meeting. Information is available on the district website or from the superintendent's office. Anyone commenting will need to complete a sign-up form, which can be done at wenatcheeschools.org or at the meeting itself. The Grant County Public Utility District will ask for about $5 million in federal funding to shore up Priest Rapids Dam against possible earthquakes. The spillway of the hydroelectric project needs to be anchored to the bedrock of the Columbia River for better seismic strength. Altogether, the PUD estimates the work will cost $38 million to $45 million. Similar work was done at a smaller scale at Wanapum Dam 9 years ago. Managers say the 65-year-old Priest Rapids Dam remains safe and stable. The PUD has an October deadline to apply for the federal share of funding. An Ellensburg driver fell asleep at the wheel and rolled his station wagon Thursday just north of the crest of Blewett Pass. The Washington State Patrol says 63-year-old Nels Zumwalt was apparently intoxicated at the time of the crash on Highway 97, about 1:35 in the afternoon. His southbound 2005 Chrysler veered into the right-hand ditch and rolled. Zumwalt was ejected from the vehicle and airlifted for treatment at Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. Troopers say he'll be cited on a charge of DUI. Well, when we come back, goat heads, the most villainous of flora. They're here, they're puncturing foot soles left and right, and Chelan County's chief noxious weed combatant, Julie Sanderson, will tell us how to spot them. I'm Jefferson Robbins, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Pybus Public Market is on the move to make parking, dining, shopping, and events an even better experience for our community. Check out the progress that has already been made towards the revitalization. The West Side project is well on its way, but we need your help to get over the finish line. All donations are greatly appreciated and can be made online at our website or in person at the business office. We want to thank those who have already partnered with us. You are helping make the place we love a better place for our community to meet.
Hi, I'm Brian Campbell, and I'd appreciate your vote for Mayor of Wenatchee. Born and raised in Wenatchee, I've experienced a lot of change over the years. Businesses have been devastated by the pandemic. People are concerned for their family's safety. Parents are concerned about their children's education and parents' rights. And people are struggling to make ends meet and find affordable housing. With my past service on our city council and 12 years of meeting attendance, over 100 years of combined community service, and over 40 years in the financial services and real estate industries, I'm uniquely qualified to provide common sense solutions to these challenges.
Paid for by Brian Campbell for mayor.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. If you've taken a walk around the Wenatchee Valley, you've stepped on them. Goat heads, those sharp little seeds that can make a hike or even a bike ride much more painful. The plant that sheds those burrs is also known as puncture vine. Julie Sanderson, the coordinator of Chelan County's Noxious Weed Control Board, gave a little primer on goat heads this week for the Chelan County Connection podcast. She says under state law, if goat heads or other noxious weeds are growing on your property, it's your responsibility to remove them.
July is goat head month around here. Usually by July, the goat heads or puncture vine, as it is kind of officially called on the state weed list, is up and running. So if it's around, we'll be seeing it in July. So this month we're having a focus on puncture vine. It's interesting as we meet people when we're out on the streets looking for the goat heads. Often people don't know what the plant looks like that actually produces those hard spiny burrs. Everybody knows the goat head because they find it in their shoes and their dog's feet. But it's actually a low-growing green vine with a finely divided leaf with little leaflets. You can see them in the picture behind me. It has a bright yellow flower, and then eventually it gets kind of a lime green burr, which as it matures, it kind of shrinks a little bit and dries up and breaks apart into the typical little goat head with the two horns that get stuck in your feet. We find them all over. We find them in vacant lots. We find them in those little spots in your lawn where you don't quite get the irrigation right and you develop bare spots with weeds in them. And along the edge of the sidewalk in our planting strips, that area that people sometimes call by another name, in between the street and the sidewalk, where it's very hard to irrigate and get good grass established. Those strips are often weed strips. And that's one of the famous places that we find them around the city. And it's a little difficult because a lot of people have the misconception that little strip is something that's taken care of by the city. And it's really the owner's obligation from the middle of the alley right up to the curb. Just like you have to control your own sidewalk in front of your house and shovel your snow, you have to control weeds up to the curb.
The Chelan PUD has announced that the sports courts at several local parks, including Chelan Falls Park, Confluence State Park, Hydro Park, and more, will undergo temporary closures for general maintenance. The work will also convert some existing tennis courts into pickleball courts due to popular demand for that sport. These temporary closures will be taking place periodically now through early October. Check out our website, ncwlife.com, for the full schedule of when each athletic court will be closed. We're calling all female veterans. The first ever She Served Women Veterans Forum will take place right here in Wenatchee at American Legion Post located at 208 North Wenatchee Avenue on Wednesday, August 2nd. From 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. Female veterans will come together to discuss ways to promote outreach and support other female veterans across the region. Coming up next, find out how a reader-friendly helper dog named Sinatra is helping kids at the East Wenatchee Library learn to enjoy some reading. And Dan Kuntz will be along with a look at the area's weather picture for the upcoming weekend. More from us just ahead on the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Hit the open roads this summer with Click It RV Superstore in Moses Lake during the Great American Sales Event. The best brands, Grand Design, Flagstaff, Thor, SMC trailers, and more. Over 1,000 RVs. Payments as low as $240 per month. $240 down. 0 payments until 2024. Up to $4,000 over JD Power for your trade-in. Plus, get a Traeger grill and Yeti cooler with purchase during the Great American Sales Event. Now at the Click It RV Superstore in Moses Lake, off I-90 on North Frontage. Hurry in today.
Enjoy the sounds of summer from your very own pool and spa. Blue Lagoon is now scheduling pool installations for this summer. Call today to schedule a free consultation for a custom San Juan fiberglass pool. And let the experts at Blue Lagoon handle the construction, installation, and regular maintenance. Turn your boring backyard into vacation paradise this summer with industry-leading San Juan pool. No need to go off the deep end. Relax knowing you're in great hands with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. If you're looking for a way to incentivize your young ones into reading, look no further. The NCW Library's East Wenatchee branch holds their Paws and Pages story time every Wednesday on the City Hall lawn, where the main attraction is a 3-year-old therapy dog. Sinatra, who is formerly a guide dog in training, wonders the crowd with handler and owner Hideo Fujita and happily accepts the attention from the crowd. It all started when Fujita reached out to the libraries to see if Sinatra could be of service, and now the pup is helping to bring the excitement back to reading.
I like his tail wagging. What about the bird singing?
My wife and I and our dogs moved here a year ago in June, and we were just thrilled to find out about the Wenatchee Kennel Club. And Louise Day, who's the president, is one of the few certified therapy dog evaluators. And she encouraged us to bring our dogs in to get them certified, and we did. And then from there, it's looking for locations that we would best fit in.
I think Wenatchee, they get like too many kids for story time, so it would have been a little bit too much to have like one dog, but you don't have as many people who come to this little branch. So I'm like, yes, I would really be interested, and so that's how it happened. Having the dog benefits kids by getting them more comfortable with dogs. I think it can put them at ease, and it's a motivation to get them to story time. Last summer I didn't have I had much smaller numbers coming to story time, and it was the first summer I did them, so it could be that too. But having the dog really does help. Sinatra, he just kind of wanders the crowd and lets the kids pet him as they see fit. Some kids are a little nervous, some are like really into the dog. And it helps, I think, engage some of the kids in the books, or helps them not to get too antsy, and it's a bit of an attraction for coming to story time.
If you want to see his tail really red, just scratch it right here. Sinatra was formerly a guide dog puppy in training, and he didn't meet all the qualifications necessary to become a guide dog. So we had the option to adopt him, and so we jumped at the opportunity to do that. So he's already got a lot of basic training under his belt, and so doing getting him certified for therapy work was a really easy step. Dogs make a big difference in people's lives, and often dogs pick their own destiny. So Sinatra chose not to be a guide dog. However, he's finding ways to be part of the community in other ways.
And once again, Dan Coons filling in for Grant Olson, who's on assignment. He'll be back on Monday as we handle the weather forecast heading into a pretty nice looking weekend. There's our view, of course, from our Wenatchee Heights camera on a beautiful Friday. Last day and a half of somewhat temperate temperatures, somewhat normal temperatures before the big warm up happens over the weekend. Beautiful view, and it was another beautiful day today. Not too bad at all. It's going to be a nice night at the ballpark, too, for Apple Sox baseball as we cover them and taking on Edmonton. But this is still a concern. Fire weather concerns. The recipe is out there. There isn't a red flag warning yet. There very well may be, because we're going to have very low relative humidity down into the teens. It's going to be very warm, and some gusty winds are a distinct possibility, especially to the north of us in the Omak, Okanagan, and the Waterville area are going to see some winds kind of slide through those Cascade gaps. And I'll show you where those are coming from in just a couple of minutes. But first things first, our almanac. Remember last year it was 109 on this date 1 year ago today. Interesting weather fact, we haven't hit 100 degrees yet this year. We've come close, but we haven't hit 100 yet. Last year we hit 100 degrees about 10 times. It's a possibility though, late next week. So there you go. Days are getting a little bit shorter. When we visit again on Monday, we'll have less than 15 hours of daylight, and boy, do we need the rain. It's not in the forecast. Highs on Saturday, 94 in Moses Lake, 94 in Ephrata, 95 in Quincy, right around 94 in Wenatchee. Considerably cooler in Ellensburg, because you're going to be dealing with more winds again tomorrow. Ellensburg, some cool winds down there. Heads up. Omak will top off our cake for high temperatures, though. They'll get to 96. No real relief from the heat in sight, with one notable exception. And what I'm talking about is that there is a low pressure ridge right over the very tip of Vancouver Island. Is right up there, and it's pretty microscopic, but it's spinning around just enough to bring in a little bit of marine air. That's why we have those high clouds, and that's why we're going to have a little bit of wind over the next 48 hours or so. We'll be done with the wind altogether by Saturday afternoon. Winds will be dying down in the overnight hours and picking up again in intensity on Saturday. Again, that's why we had those fire weather concerns. And then that low is going to continue to slide up into British Columbia. It's going to allow all that dry, hot air, extremely dry air, is going to work its way up from the southwest, and a big high pressure ridge is going to sit there, and we're going to start cooking up. By Monday, we're going to get to 92 degrees. By the time we get to Tuesday, we're just going to notch it up basically a degree or two each day. Even though the days are getting shorter, this amplified ridge is going to really cook us up. Probably the warmest days of next week look to be Wednesday and Thursday. And if you're looking for a change in the weather, cooler temperatures and maybe a little bit of rain, there is a possibility by Saturday of next week that we could finally get some much needed rain. But for the immediate future, the next 7 days or so, it's just going to be sunny. It's going to be hot all up and down the West Coast. Unseasonably warm temperatures for everybody. And that goes all the way up to central Alberta and British Columbia. That's the last thing they need because they are still dealing with some fires. All right, into the weekend we go, and here you go. 90 degrees, our unofficial high today. That's right at normal. 65 for the overnight low. Sunny and hot and a little on the hazy side on Saturday, especially to the north of us. But that haze could actually seep down all the way down to, say, the Chelan Valley and a little bit of Wenatchee. So a little hazy on Saturday, a little breezy on Sunday. That's that last of the low pressure ridge. It's going to cool us down a little bit, and then that baby's gone, and here comes the heat. 91 Monday, very little wind. Tuesday, 96, close to 100 Wednesday, slightly cooler on Thursday. And as I just mentioned, there is the possibility of considerably cooler temperatures and some rain by Saturday and Sunday of next week. But we're not there yet. Still to come, sports with Eric Granstrom from Paul Thomas Senior Stadium and more. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Hi, everybody. Dan Kuntz alongside Jesse Coble from Alpine Air. We're switching from the cold of winter to the heat of summer. That can put a lot of stress in your HVAC unit.
Yeah, it really can, Dan. I would recommend that you get a maintenance. It can catch any potential problems that you might have during the peak of summer. And it's just a good idea to do on all season changes.
Great idea. Good advice. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
Well, it's day 3 of the Seahawks training camp, and they finally have their 5th round selection in camp. According to Ian Rappaport, Devon Witherspoon is in town. In fact, he agreed to a contract worth 4 years and a reported $31.86 million. Of that, the signing bonus, $20.2 million guaranteed. So Witherspoon is in town. Now, yesterday, Quandre Diggs was asked about the contract negotiations with Witherspoon. He said he had total confidence that he would be in camp within a few days. He turns out to be right. Now, the money is quite a bit different than when Quandre signed 10 years ago.
When I was drafted, bro, I was 6th round draft pick, so my money ain't nothing like Spoon finna get. Like, I think I got like $70,000 after taxes. So for me, it ain't like I was gonna be rich. I was gonna be a normal civilian. So shit, just give me my money when you get it to me. But you know, everybody's situation is different. And like I said, I just give him the best advice I can give him. And you know, if he need anything, I'm always here. I'm down the street. So, I mean, I think it'll work out. It'll be fine. You know what I mean? He's our 5th pick. We drafted him for a reason. They want him here. He wants to be here. So it'll be all good.
Seattle's also without their cornerback, Tariq Woolen, who's recovering from a knee injury, had a slight surgery on that earlier this summer. Now, as far as Diggs is concerned, he says that's just giving guys more chances to get repetitions.
It's impressive. I think this is probably the best depth that we've had since I've been here, where, you know, we got 2 guys out, you know, with Spoon and Reek. So we got just throw Trey in, and he's going to do his job. Mike Jackson's going to do his job. We got a little Cole. The young boys are getting great reps. So at the end of the day, you know, it's the next man up mentality right now, and we'll be happy when those guys get back out there. It just gives us more of our bodies so we can all work together and get that chemistry going.
Seattle surprised the NFL last year by finishing over 500 and making the first round of the playoffs. Of course, they fell to the Rams, and for quarterback Geno Smith, he's using that as motivation for this season.
Yeah, I can speak for myself, man. I just had a really bad taste in my mouth after that, playoff game. Didn't want the season to end, and, I just kind of went straight to work. I just went to work, and, I was preparing for this opportunity this season, and I know the guys around me felt the same way. Everyone's growing. We're all growing together. This offense is growing. This team's growing. And, like I said, we got to go prove it. I'm not big on just talking. I like to go out and make things happen. And so, I think we have a great opportunity. And so I'm looking forward to that.
Seattle added wide receiver Jackson Smith in Jigbe in the offseason with a first-round draft pick. And for Geno Smith, he says he's just going to add to what the Seahawks have offensively in the arsenal.
We were a really good offense last year. We did a lot of great things, and I think Jackson is an addition to that. Having another dynamic receiver, just as well as like guys like Derek and D. Eskridge and Cody Thompson, the tight ends that we have, bringing what they bring. Not to mention DK and Tyler, our running backs. I mean, we have a whole onslaught of guys who can go out there and make things happen. And, we all know what Jackson can do. I mean, he does it every single day. That's who he is. And having a guy like him on our side, like I said, makes us a lot better.
Season ticket holders attending practice today. They'll have a day off tomorrow and then prepare for their first mock game coming up next Friday at Lumen Field. Well, the Mariners are in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks in the first of a 3-game weekend series tonight. That game gets underway at 6:40 on Root Sports Northwest. Logan Gilbert will get the ball for Seattle as they come in with a record 2 games over 500 in the American League West. Now, yesterday there was only 2 games involving an American League West team, and it was, playing the same opponent. They played a doubleheader in Detroit yesterday where the Angels were able to come out on top in both games of the doubleheader, winning the opener by a score of 6-0. Shohei Ohtani, his first ever complete game, just a one-hitter for Shohei, and then he would show up in Game 2 with 2 home runs. How about that guy? He's got 38 home runs on the year and 9 wins pitching on the mound. Well, a comeback bid for the Wenatchee Apple Sox fell short in the 9th inning last night as they fall to the Bellingham Bells by a final of 6-5. Sox scored 3 runs in the 9th before the Bells got the final out, handing Wenatchee its first series loss at home this season. We get more on last night's game with the voice of the Apple Sox, Joel Norman.
The Wenatchee Apple Sox dropped back-to-back home games for the first time this summer as the Bellingham Bells came on the road and took 2 of 3 at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium with a 6-5 victory on Thursday night. Wenatchee trailed 2-0 heading into the bottom of the 5th inning and got RBI singles from Reeve Boyd and Frankie Carney to tie it up, but the Bells immediately had an answer, scoring twice in the top of the 6th and then again in the 8th and the 9th innings with insurance runs. The Apple Sox trailed by 4 going into the bottom of the 9th inning, but refused to go down quietly, scoring 3 runs. However, the final out of the game was recorded over at third base with Wenatchee within 1 run, but of course, they would not get an opportunity to play potentially the tying run. Samuel Round picked up a no decision, but the incoming freshman at Gonzaga was brilliant on Thursday night. 5 innings, he allowed 3 runs in that time, 2 of them were earned, and he struck out 10 hitters to become the second Apple Sox pitcher this season to record double-digit strikeouts as a starter. Wenatchee looks to get a new streak going on Friday night as they welcome the Edmonton Riverhawks into town. It's Aloha weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend of baseball, including with Saturday's game being the Apple Sox annual free trip to Hawaii giveaway night, with first pitch for Friday and Saturday at 6:35 and then Sunday at 1:05 p.m. With your Apple Sox update, I'm Joel Norman.
Izzy Lopez finished the game 3 for 4 with 2 runs, while Reeve Boyd had a couple of hits and a run and an RBI. Braden Boyd took the loss, pitching 3 innings of relief, allowing 3 runs on 2 hits. Wenatchee will begin its final home game of the regular season tonight against the Edmonton Riverhawks. In fact, NCWLIFE will be out here at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium with the call coming up an hour from now here on the NCWLIFE channel. In other West Coast League play last night, it was Rafael Smink 2 for 3 with a home run and 2 RBI to lead Kelowna over Nanaimo 7-2. Victorian Kamloops were rained out at Norbrock Stadium last night. Mark Osana's grand slam home run powered a 5-run first inning for Edmonton as the Riverhawks beat Port Angeles 7-2. Edmonton comes to Wenatchee on a 4-game winning streak. Ethan Hott's bases clearing triple highlighted a 5-run second inning for Corvallis as the Knights beat Yakima Valley 8-2. Marcus Titiali's 2-run home run helped Cowlitz over Ridgefield 6-5. Portland rallied from behind on Armando Bacino's two-run single in the top of the ninth to beat Springfield 6-5. Luca DePaula was 3 for 6 with 3 RBI to lead Bend over Walla Walla 13-6. The catcher from USC was just a home run shy of the cycle. Wenatchee's lead in the North is trimmed to just a game and a half over Victoria after last night's loss. The Apple Sox just 2 games in front of Kelowna as the West Coast League heads into the next to the last weekend this weekend. Here at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium, I'm Eric Grandstrom for NCW Life Channel Sports. Have a great weekend.
And that is our newscast for this Friday evening. Thanks a lot for being with us. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or on our website, ncwlife.com. Remember also, if you see news happening, we want you to let us know. You can send us an email, news@ncwlife.com, or call 888-6295. That's 888-NCWL. I'm Jefferson Robbins. Grant Olson is back in this chair starting Monday night. We hope you have a great weekend.
I have no idea what I'm doing. That's why we need you. We need people to run cameras so I can get back down on the broadcast and talk about what's going on. We pay $75 per event. If it's sports, if it's a parade, if it's Apple Blossom, if it's the Super Oval, $75. If that sounds like some extra good money for you, we'd love you to be part of our team. All you have to do is email me, sports@ncwlife.com. sports@ncwlife.com. In the meantime, I gotta go figure out this camera.
Baseball, the Symphony, Super Oval, and graduations are all community events we're proud to bring you on the NCW Life channel. Coverage is made possible by Apple Valley Honda, Bob's Apple Barrel Bark, Castle Rock International Real Estate, Confluence Health, JDSA Law, Mary Maids, Mini Blinds, and more. Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista. Together for Youth, Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center, and Walkabout Grill. A reflection of and spotlight on the communities we call home. The NCW Life channel.